And then Maddie Meyer in for Kennedy. And it looks like we're waiting on the game ball. There it is.
The 3-ball rotation looks to only have 1 ball in it.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. All right, here we go. Iowa City West, of course, head coached by Kathy Bresnahan, and Kennedy by head coach Michelle Goodall. We are set and ready to go. Molly Mason is back to serve and get things underway here in the match. And we are underway. Here we go. And I got to get my numbers right here because this is going to be interesting.
Well, and that's one way that Kennedy can have success tonight is anytime you use the hands of the blocker or tool the block, it's very hard to defend because you don't know where the ball's going. So that's one way that Kennedy can make sure they're successful.
Anna Fluent to serve it up for Kennedy. Here's the kick towards the front. Cross court, still dug in. Tip over, but blocked down in there. Nice job by Tony Martins. Helped out in there by Allie Tauken. Once again, we talked about Tauken with some of her blocks last week. We got a replay on that one. Nice with the old camera right at the net. Beautiful.
Yep. And you can see how they just don't let that ball come to their side of the net. That's the key.
Here's Tauken with the serve. Dug out in there by Kennedy. But the hit goes long and out of bounds down the back line. Once again, here we go. We got, I could get these numbers right. Tauken, there we go. It'll take me a while, folks. Trust me. Been a while. Crossed over there. Couldn't come up with it. In there trying to make the play was Nikki Dean. Just too shallow, couldn't dig it out.
Well, and Erin Coker has done a nice job on the outside for Kennedy. She has mixed up, just like what we were talking about. She had a hard hit off the hands of the blocker, and then that time she tipped the ball just over the block, creating some confusion for the defense, which is what Kennedy will need to do.
Serving it up will be Coker. She's on the left-hand side of the court. Nice serve in there, dug out by Martins. Back set over in there to Elena Whitehead, but it was blocked up front there.
Well, and Lainey Whitehead is going to be Iowa City West's their main go-to player. She has a ton of experience. She's played in matches at the state tournament, and they will look for her to lead them through any trouble spots.
Score is 3-2. Kennedy up over Iowa City West. There is a huge knockdown on the front side in by Brinley Milbrath.
And again, you watch how their hands go up, and that ball never comes to their side of the net.
4-2, Kennedy up. Here's Coker with the serve. The dig. Milbrath.
You know, sometimes that's what middle blocking is. I was a middle blocker, so I always called it contortionism. It's doing whatever you can to flail your body to get the ball over and hopefully on the floor of the other side of the net.
Looks like we got a substitution. Emily Halverson in now for Iowa City West, and it's side out over to them. We're going to have Elena Whitehead with the serve now. Dug out in there by Meyer. That's Madison Meyer. Free ball hit and into the net. Into the net, and that, of course, was Gabby Delsing. Now we have a substitution on the Kennedy side. Kennedy leads at 5-1. Coming in is Brianna Osterkamp to serve. 5-3 once again your score here. We're in the first set of this match. Osterkamp with a good serve. Delsing with the dig. Nice set in the middle. Okay. That was huge.
Okay, so you know how we talked about the offenses beforehand?
Yes.
West is kind of running neither of what we talked about.
Okay.
They have a hybrid offense. They're running we talked about a 5-1 and a 6-2. They're running a 6-1. Lainey Whitehead, who plays their right side when she's in the front row, she sets when she's in the back row. So it's like a 6-2, except it's just the same player making the rotation.
Molly Mason there for Iowa City West, getting the good solid hit. Kennedy not able to come up with the dig for that one, and it is now tied 5-all here in the first set. Tony Martins back to serve for the Trojans. Good serve, dug in there by Meyer. Set right in the middle. to Nikki Dean. She hits it right over and down. Kennedy back to the point. Nice little short set on that one there to Meyer in the middle.
Well, and Fluent is the setter for Kennedy, and she's just a sophomore. She does a nice job of running that team, and she's young, so Kennedy has a lot to look forward to these next few years.
Paige Frank with the serve. Here's West with their answer. Now onto the attack. That was just outside. Nice work, though, getting that ball somewhat down. Jaden Gilson in on the attack there.
And imagine the nerves that Delsing, the libero, has right now. She's a freshman coming in to play in a varsity match, and that ball comes by her head. Luckily, she got out of the way in time.
Kennedy now working it across to the net. Here's West to the outside set. Over to Mason. It's dug out nicely by Kennedy. Set towards the front of the net. Back set, actually. Good hit in there by Allie Tauken. Small short hit from Gilson for Kennedy is knocked down nicely by West.
Frank, I don't know if you can tell it from here, but the only time it's legal to touch the ball on the other side of the net is a block, and that was certainly that situation. That ball never broke the plane of the net, and that's, as a blocker, that's all you can do, and that's all a coach can ask of you.
Here's West on the rally back. Nice. That was a skip pass, more or less, or a skip hit. That one was in. Nice hit in there by Allie Tauken once again for West. She was able to get it through the block as well as through the back hole and down in bounds.
Well, and West is really transitioning well right now. They're quick, and Kennedy just can't quite get to their defensive spots in time for the defense.
Another short hit there by Kennedy. Here's the outside set over to Mason. That's blocked out. Another short hit by West. Almost a double hit there, not too bad. Wow, nice cross-court hit in there from Paige Frank.
Well, and one of the rules that have changed in the last couple years, not when all the other rules were changing, is your first contact, you can have a double contact, you can have a double hit, you just can't lift the ball.
Right.
So if the ref sees a double contact, he won't blow his whistle, but if he thinks you've lifted the ball, then he'll blow his whistle.
Jaden Gilson serves it in for Kennedy. Here's West trying to answer. That is out of bounds. Off of the back line. I believe that one was hit by Molly Mason just a little bit hard that time. Tied at 8. Kennedy with the serve right now. Here's Gilson with the serve, dug out by Martins. Morgan bumps it up. Kennedy on this side. Nice short little shot, but it's out of bounds. That hit out there by Anna Fluent. Fluent, a sophomore. She was trying to do a little trick play.
That's right. That tip is open. She just shot it too far toward the sideline. But that spot's open.
West leads 9-8. Here we have Elizabeth Clemmy to serve now for the Trojans. Do believe we had a substitution in on Kennedy's side. We'll have to see if we can pick that up here in just a little bit. Here's the serve by Clemmy. Fluent with the set.
Nice block.
Cross court. Beautiful block in there by Elena Whitehead. That gives West a 10-8 lead here in the first set.
Well, and that block was a double block. Laney Whitehead and Tauken, I think is the right way to say it. From here, they look like they were a solid wall, and as a hitter, when you're up against a block like that, it's really hard to be able to do anything. It's like you're hitting out of a phone booth.
Nice job by Erin Coker. She hits it through the block to get the side out and the point. Now it's 10-9, still favor of West. Here we've got Madison Meyer back. I think she goes by Maddie maybe, but one way or the other. My daughter used to go by Maddie too, but now she only goes by Madison. All right, back into it. Kennedy trying to get something going here, see if they can tie this game up. This set, I should say, excuse me.
That's another rule that's changed recently. You'll hear me call them games too because that's what I'm used to, but I think that might have been just this past year. Now we call them sets, so they play 3 out of 5 sets.
So we are now tied 10-10. Maddie Meyer back to serve. Dug out nicely in there by Morgan for West. Here's a solid hit in there for West. I believe that was a Whitehead. Set from Morgan. Excuse me, that was Clemmy with the set. I missed who that was that had the nice hit.
The first one was Lainey
Here's the
Whitehead.
replay on it.
And that was the last one. That's Tauken. On that first one, the dig off Kennedy's went off her leg, which is legal. You can't try and make it go off your leg, but if it just hits off your leg, that's legal.
All right, 11-10. Iowa City West leads it, and they got confused there on that one. Didn't want to get that fourth hit, unfortunately.
Well, and it just appeared, and we're way up far away from them, so we can't hear what's going on, but it just appeared like there wasn't a lot of communication. Nobody took control to send the ball over.
11-11. Here's Anna Fluent with the serve. Dug out in by Morgan. The set over to Martins. In the middle, no. Here's a cross-court set over into Coker. She can't get it. It's blocked in there. Once again to Coker. Cross-court. Dug out nicely in there by Mason. Another cross-court set in over to West. That was Elena Whitehead. She gets the kill and knocks it down.
Well, and Coach Goodall with Kennedy needs to make sure that her team is aware. If Lainey Whitehead is in the front row and there's any kind of a rally, expect it to go to Whitehead. In fact, if I were coaching, which I'm not, and I'm trying not to play backseat driver, I would almost have my middle commit to Whitehead in a transition situation like that.
All right, there's a kind of a little miscue there. Elena Whitehead had it caught more or less right above her head, and she didn't really do much.
Sometimes when you're down there, you can't tell where the ball went. You know it went off your hands, but you can't tell exactly where it went, and so you need some help. Someone saying, it's right above you or something, and people aren't used to doing that. So it gets lost every once in a while.
Got a couple of substitutions for Kennedy. Looks like I lost it again. I just had it. Macy Anderson now in. Here's Coker to serve for Kennedy. Dug in there by Morgan. Back set over there to Whitehead. Excuse me, that was Whitehead. Nice set in the middle. Beautiful. Did you see that hit? Tony Martins with a huge kill.
One of the reasons that was special is Tony Martins is an outside hitter. And they mixed, you can see they mixed her coming into the middle and kind of ran an X. And that confuses the defense. Again, the defense should be watching the ball a little bit, but they're also paying attention to the hitters. And when you see your outside hitter in the middle of the court, you think, it's not going to her, So it's smart to mix things up like that.
13-12, Iowa City West leads it. Here's a back set over to Morgan. Nicely dug out there by Meyer. A long cross-court shot from the left-hand mark. That was Jaden Gilson. She goes just a little bit wide and out of bounds. So point goes to West. They lead it 14-12 here in the first set. Here's Whitehead with a serve. Good dig by Kennedy. Fluent over once again. Cross-court set, way out of bounds. I believe that was Tauken with the dig, but it didn't quite get the perfect set off of her hands on it. Another substitution now coming in for Kennedy. Looks like we have Nikki Dean back in the lineup, and back to serve is going to be Brianna Osterkamp. Kennedy down by 1, 14-13. Here's Osterkamp now to serve. Good serve, dug out by Martins. Whitehead in the middle to Morgan. She kind of missed that one off of the right part of her hand.
Contortionism.
Yeah.
And when you come in for quicks as a hitter, the quick set is a critical set. It needs to be perfect for it to be a perfect hit. And the hitter has to be perfect and the setter has to be perfect. That doesn't always happen. So anytime, the ball goes over, it's a good thing because it really is a contortionistic position.
All right, Kennedy here. Nice block in there by Morgan. She got that. Halverson with a nice dig. Here's Whitehead bumping over to Mason. Kennedy comes out with a dig, though. Gilson once again. She had a nice little hit.
Good spot.
That looks like it was right in the back corner almost.
That's right. That's a great spot. It's really hard to defend those corners. And Whitehead thought it was going out, so she let it go, but it ended up just landing right in that corner. Paige
Frank comes in for Kennedy to serve now for the Cougars. Little jump serve, dug out in there by Delsing. Here's Whitehead in the middle to Morgan. Good dig by Kennedy. Cross-court set for West. Now back. Oh, just missed it. Couldn't quite get the tips of her fingers on it. Was Anna Fluent, and she doesn't come up with that one, and it goes down. It was a nice idea.
You want to keep West on their toes. It was a nice idea, just not quite over the net.
Allie Tauken comes back in now for the Trojans of Iowa City West. Morgan now with the serve. Here's Fluent. Little bit too far of a set there. Halverson now cross-court set in there for Mason. That looks like it was.
It was out, but there was a touch on the block. So it counts as a point for West.
Looks like we've got a timeout here. 17-14. We're going to stay right here as well. Quick pace games. You're only down by 3. Kennedy's still got a good opportunity to come back and either tie this game up and also possibly go ahead. But what do you see from West that they're doing correctly right now?
Well, there's a lot of things they're doing correctly, but one of the things I like is West, and Coach Bresnahan has always done this. I mean, when I played at Iowa, she was the coach at West, and she's always been a progressive coach, trying to get her players better and quicker and faster. And so, you know, for a high school team, they try and run a lot of quicks, and they try and keep the offense very fast and very quick, because it's hard for the defense to move to their spots to cover those. And so she does a really nice job of that. The team has responded well. They've got 2 setters that are setting quick sets, and that's rare in high school volleyball.
Allie Tauken with 3 kills so far tonight. Looks like Michaela Morgan, she's got 3 kills. Also with Tony Martins, a couple of kills, and Molly Mason, a couple of kills as well. Let's see, one other one in there that we have. Elena Whitehead with a couple of kills. For Kennedy, looks like Nikki Dean has 1. Paige Frank has 2. And Jaden Gilson with 1 as well. There are more, but that's what we have right at the moment. Here's Michaela Morgan with the serve for Iowa City West. They leave it 17-14. Morgan with a nice dig towards the back side of the court. Mason with a nice hit. Oh, almost a collision between the 2 back there. That was Madison Meyer, and I didn't quite catch the other one. I think it was number 9, which would have been Kendall Meyer, and the 2 sisters might have gotten tied up there. West leads at 18-14, first set. Good dig.
Now on that block, that was a really nice block. Molly Mason went up, and when you block, you want to send your arms over the other side of the net, what we call penetrate the net, so that it actually breaks the plane of the net. And she went over, and there was no way that ball was coming to her side of the net.
19-14, West leads it. Here's Kennedy with a short set. Fluent, nice block in there by West. Here's the set in. That was Paige Frank. Now the set's going to go over to Gilson. Good dig by Martins. 3rd hit here for West. They got to get it over. They finally do. Meyer now over. Good set. Block once again in there. Allie Tauken. And in helping her was Emily Halverson for West.
Great rally by both teams. I like the aggressiveness. It's good to see Kennedy swinging hard from the back row on a back row attack. I love seeing high school kids do that.
Here's Morgan with a serve. They lead it 20-14, West does. Quick set in there. Beautiful set right to Nikki Dean. She knocks it down for the kill for Kennedy. Beautiful set there on that particular play.
That was a great set by Fluent. I mean, if she wouldn't have set it perfectly, Dean couldn't have hit that, because her body was past the setter. She needs to remain open, and so Fluent saw where she was and put it right in her hand.
Here's the 2015 serve. West now cross-court set over in there to Mason. She knocks it down. She gets it through the block.
Well, that time, it's easy to tell on that one. There was what we call a hole in the block. The middle blocker for Kennedy did not close the block so that all 4 arms were up there creating a wall. So there was a hole, and she used the hole in the block.
Looks like we have Sarah Ryder in now for Kennedy. Back serving is Elizabeth Clemming for West. They lead at 21-15. There's a good rally by the Cougars. Once again, Paige Frank with that was Nikki Dean.
Yep, I think that was Nikki Dean.
Yep, Nikki Dean with a nice knockdown there. And a substitution again for Kennedy. Out comes Osterkamp. In comes Brinley Milbrath. And we're going to be having Madison Meyer now with the serve for Kennedy. They're down 21-16. Serve up to Clemmy. Clemmy hits it over.
And that set right there, not many high school teams run that play. That's called, well, it depends on what you call it, but a lot of people call that a 3. It's about 10 feet away from the setter, and it's a quick set. It's very, very hard to do, and for a high school team to be doing it, you know, it's again,
the Kennedy Cougars here in the first set. And Kennedy struggling a little bit here at the end of this particular set.
Well, we talked a little bit about West seniors. Kennedy has 3 freshmen and 4 sophomores, and they all, well, most of them see the court. And so some of it, now at this point in the season, you think, do they really count as freshmen still? But it's a lot different when you're a freshman playing against a team that 2 years ago won the state championship and still have remnants of that team on the court.
And a lot of times your freshmen don't always necessarily know exactly how these seniors have been playing for the past few years. So it's like they're just trying to find their spot to be able to fit in and become part of this gelled team.
Right. And they're doing really well. I mean, Paige Frank is a freshman, and she's leading the team in kills, and her passing's been pretty good so far tonight.
Aaron Coker now with 3 kills on the night for Kennedy. And we have got a score of 22-16. Iowa City West leads Cedar Rapids Kennedy here in this first set. Back to serve for the Trojans is Molly Mason. Here's Mason with the set. Meyer with the dig. And it appears that there was some confusion just a little bit on the part of West.
Well, and that was a good play by Kennedy. Milbrath ran around what we call a slide, where you come and you do a 1-foot takeoff. Those are hard to read and a little hard to defend, just because everybody hits them a little differently. And there's Milbrath taking control of that net, and that's what middle blockers need to do. They need to make sure that ball is not crossing the net on their watch.
She's got some height on her as well, and
she
that
does.
Always helps out.
Yeah, 6'2"
when you're playing up front there. 22-18 is the score. Iowa City West still leads it. We have Fluent with the serve, and that went off the toe of Michaela
Well, and
Morgan.
I think it would have been in anyway.
Yeah, it would have been in anyway, because it was starting to do its rotational spin far enough to be able to knock right down. We used to call those, baseball-wise, but, it's sinker.
Oh.
We used to call them sinkers a lot. And that's virtually what it is. Trying to mix 2 sports at once. What am I thinking?
That's
anyway.
all right.
That's because I pitched a lot.
Well, I was thinking the other night that I've called a floater serve like a knuckleball, and it doesn't make any sense because people who don't play baseball aren't going to know what that means.
Exactly. 22-20, Iowa City West with the lead. We've got Fluent serving for the Cougars. Oh, there's an ace. That's an ace serve right in there for Fluent.
Was she the one with all the aces last week against Waterloo?
No, it was actually Maddie Meyer that had all the aces. Fluent had 33 assists last week, but that's a great ace serve there for the Cougars.
Well, and the reason it's tough is because it's a top spin serve, so it's going to drop like the sinker in baseball, but she's not serving it short, and she's not serving it deep. So the players are not sure who should take it. It's landing right in the middle of them, and lots of times we call that a husband-wife or a spouse serve, where you serve in between them and let them fight it out.
I guess I've never heard that called that. That's interesting. 22-21, the Cougars have come back by 5 points or so to come up with a nice area where they are feeling a little bit comfortable. I'm sure Coach Goodall is very happy with her squad right now, closing that gap and making this game close.
Well, and she will use that. That's that's the great thing about volleyball, is you're never out, and momentum swings back and forth so quickly and so much that players get used to, oh, well, we've been down by 5, 6, 7 points. We can still do this.
Here's Fluent with the serve. Delsing with the dig. Set in the middle to Whitehead. Dug out nicely in there by Meyer. Short little hit, but that looks like we're going to be having a side out there. Not for sure exactly what.
They called 4 hits. They don't think the blocker touched it. From my perspective, it looked like the blocker touched it, but we don't really get a say from up here.
No, we don't.
And I think Coach Goodall also thought the blockers touched it. But that's the name of the game, and you just have to figure out how to get the ball back.
All right, here we go. Back over now to West. They serve it. They lead it 23-21. There's a nice hit down the left-hand line. Paige Frank with a beautiful kill on that one.
And that's a freshman again.
There's a replay.
Great hard swing. She's aggressive. She gets up there and she hits it deep. And one of the things that when we coach, we try and talk to players about, you don't have to hit it on the line. Hit it within 2 or 3 feet of the line. It's really hard to judge if it's going in or out. And a lot of times people will let it go and it lands in the court.
Here's Martins just hitting it over now for West. The short little set by Kennedy, hit over, just over the blockers. Paige Frank, once again, I do believe, got that one.
That's right, and she's mixing it up. I think, you know, Kennedy's doing a nice job of hard hits, and then she reels them in, you know, while they're sitting back waiting on their heels for another hard hit. She gives them a tip right over the block, and they can't get to it defensively.
Score was tied 23-23 before that serve, and it was Erin Coker hitting the ball long for her serve, so that was out of bounds. That goes back over to Iowa City West, and now they lead 24-23 with a chance to take this set right now. We're going to have Elena Whitehead with the serve for Iowa City West. They lead it once again 24-23. Kind of a little short serve. Here's the set over on the left side to Gilson. Oh, they got to get it over, and they finally do. Nice work in there by Tauken to keep it alive. Frank with the shot from the right-hand corner.
I'd like to see that in video again, because the middle blocker for Kennedy went up to hit the free ball. Oh, and you can see her getting up. And then Morgan for West, I don't know if she was trying to block, if she thought that the middle blocker for Kennedy was going to try and hit it, or I couldn't figure out what was going on, but then she ended up on the floor, so she wasn't able to block that last hit.
Not a good situation. All right, looks like Osterkamp back in to serve for Kennedy. Short little hit in there by Morgan for West. Here's the cross-court set over to Gilson. She knocks it through the block and down.
Great.
Kennedy.
It's a great swing. I mean, it really is hard. And I'm not sure I've ever seen, on a swing like that, a ball that's hit high off the hands, out of the court. I'm not sure I've ever seen somebody play that ball up. I mean, unless it goes really high in the air, but.
Kennedy with their first lead of the set here, 25-24. Osterkamp back to serve. Good dig by Martins. Here's Whitehead. Cross-court set to Morgan, and Morgan right through.
Well, that's a gutsy play.
Yes,
that's that three set that we were talking about earlier. That shows that West has confidence in what they're doing, because that's a gutsy play.
We're tied at 25. Here's Tony Martins back to serve for the Trojans. Dug out by Meyer. They just got to get it across now, and they do. Here's Whitehead, back set over to Morgan. Good block by Kennedy. Martins with the pass up, and they'll just hit it over. Fluent, back set to Frank. West was right there to get it. There's Gilson. Whitehead once again, cross court over in there to Mason. Mason looks like she got the hit. Good kill by Molly Mason.
And a great aggressive swing, again, landing in the back 6 inches of the court, which is really, really hard to defend.
You got to have a lot of, now I'm trying to think of what the words on.
A politically correct term?
Yeah,
guts.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was thinking. Thank you. 26-25, West back with the lead here in the first set. Martins back to serve for West. Little short hit. There's Meyer with the dig. Here's the set over.